Take a comfortable position. Sit up straight. Clasp your hands. Cross your legs. Eyes closed. The purpose of today's meditation is to shed or drop our ego. Our ego is reducing us. Once our ego is dropped, we experience our expanded consciousness like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. We have forgotten that in this vast cosmos, where we don't know where is the beginning and where is the end, we as spiritual beings descended down on this planet Earth, on this plane of density, which is like a little mud ball in the cosmos. And we are not even a speck of dust. However, we have an individual identity, and we have taken this individual experience too seriously because of our ego, as if we are the beginning and the end of all. Our ego keeps us trapped in the surface level of reality. Our ego survives on identification and separation. Your identification with body, things, and forms. Once you drop your identification with temporary roles you play, you experience true freedom as you drop all resistance. Buddha said, wear your ego like a loose-fitting garment. The ego isn't wrong, it's just unconscious. When you observe it in you, it loses its intensity. The consciousness who is observing it is the real you. Buddha once said, seeing is freeing. Rumi said, be like melting snow. Wash yourself off yourself. You think you have a life, but the truth is you don't have a life. You are life. The one life, the one consciousness that pervades the entire universe and takes temporary forms to experience itself as a stone, a blade of grass, as an animal, a person, a star, or a galaxy. You are that divine consciousness. So the process of this meditation is simple and is a great way to move from your old self to a new self, as it takes a long time for an ego to change ego. We'll use surrender as a powerful tool to dissolve or burn our ego. So here we'll first start with brain coherence, which helps you to make your mind empty, lose your identity, drop all resistance, and raise your vibrations. And then we move to the second stage. Here you will hear few sacred mantras or sutras. Before the start of each sutra, I will explain the meaning of these sutras. As you hear these chants, feel the vibrations and essence of this sutra. Surrender any aspects of your limited self to connect with the greater self. As you surrender, you drop your identity and shed your ego. So I welcome you, dear friends, to participate in this powerful process. I hope you enjoy it. Gently shift your awareness to your nostrils. Take one deep breath in through your nostrils, and as you breathe out, relax. And one more slow, steady breath in, and as you exhale, let your whole body relax. Shift your awareness from the world around you to the world inside you. At this moment of time, nothing else exists but your breath. Just be with your breath. Normal, natural, simple, easy, relaxed breathing. This moment of time, completely drop your identity, your personality self, your ego, your analytical mind, which is the extension of your ego. Just drop it all. And become pure consciousness. Withdraw your attention from all people, places, things, time and event. And just be with your in-breath and out-breath. And as you observe each and every breath coming in and out of your nostrils, sense the temperature in your nostrils. Is it warm or is it cooler? Sense it. Are you breathing deep or shallow? Observe. Each and every breath is keenly observed. Let not a single breath slip by without your awareness. And now nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, and no time. Become pure consciousness, aware that you're aware in this endless vast field. Surrender any aspects of your limited self to join the greater self and lose yourself in nothing to become everything. And now, the coming sutra, the sacred chant, is by Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya. Chidananda Rupam Shivoham Shivoham. It means I am that form of consciousness and bliss. I am that auspicious divine. I am not the mind, the intellect, the ego, the conscious memory. I am not the ears, the tongue, the nose, nor the eyes. Nor am I the sky, the earth, the fire, or the wind. I am not what is known as a prana, nor the 5 vital breaths. Nor am I the 7 body elements, nor the 5 koshas. I am not the motor organs of speech, handling or movement, nor the organs of excretion or procreation. I am not aversion or attachment, nor greed, nor delusion, nor am I the pride or the jealous feeling, nor am I the dharma, the artha, nor the kama or moksha. I am not the virtuous action, nor the vice, nor pleasure, nor sorrow. Nor the mantra, nor the pilgrimage, nor the Vedas, nor the sacrifices. I am not the food, nor the dish, nor the one who enjoys it. I am not death, nor fear, nor any class discrimination. I am not the father, nor the mother, not the birth. I am not a relative, nor a friend, not a guru, nor a disciple. I am beyond space-time. I am that formless form. I pervade in all and within all beings and in all sense organs. I am always in balance, nor liberated, neither in bondage. I am that form of consciousness and bliss. I am that auspicious divine. I am that.
Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Manobodhyam Karachitaninam Nachashrodra Jive Nachagrana Netre Nachavyoma Bhumi Natedro Navayu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Nachaprana Sagno Navapanchavayu Navasabdadatu Navapanchakosha Nawakpanipadam Nachapastapayu Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Namedvesanago Namelobamo Madoneva Meneva Matsarya Baba Natarmo Nacharto Nakamo Namoksha Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Na punyam na papam na sakyam na dukkam Na mantro na tirtam na meda na yagna Aham bhojanam neva bhojam na bhokta
Buddhosi, Buddhosi. It means you are pure, conscious and taintless. You are not subject to the illusionaries of the world. Give up this leap of delusion, this dream which confounds the mind. Why are you crying? You are pure. The name you have acquired is not yours, merely a mind-created fiction applied to you. The body is not yours, nor are you of it. The Lord of the universe doesn't cry either. The sound is an illusion attributed to you. The qualities imagined as yours are inherent in all the senses. The insignificant elements within the man acquire the condition of growth through the addiction of food, water and drink. It is not a growth nor a diminution of you. Within the body shell, you remain constant. Do not become confounded by this body which has been fastened upon you. Father, son, mother, wife, mine, not mine. Do not assign much significance to what is only an aggregation of elements. The delusional man thinks that pain elevates pain. The delusional man thinks enjoyment or pleasures gives happiness. The intelligent man whose mind is free from confusion knows that pleasures and sorrows are alike. The carriage goes upon the earth. The body is seated in the carriage. The self resides within the body. The delusional jiva thinks, I am this body. The self has no attachment to his carriage. Foolish is such ignorance. You are pure consciousness and taintless.
शुद्धोऽसि बुद्धोऽसि निरञ्जनोऽसि संसारमाया परिवर्जितोऽसि संसारस्वप्नं त्यज्य मोहनिद्रां मदालसोल्लापनुवाच पुत्रम् शुद्धोऽसि रेतात्तनतेऽस्ति नाम कृतं हि ते कल्पनयाधुनैव पञ्चात्मकं देहमिदं न तेऽस्ति नैवास्य त्वं रोदिषि कस्य हेतु न वा भवान् रोदिति विश्वजन्मा शब्दोऽयमायाद्यमहीशसूनुं विकल्प्यमाना विविधैर्गुणैस्ते गुणाश्च भौता सकलेन्द्रियेषु भूतानि भूतैः परिदुर्बलानि वृद्धिं समतेऽस्ति हानि त्वं कञ्चुकेशीर्यमाणे निजोऽस्मिन् तस्मिन् देहे मूढतां मा व्रजेथा शुभाशुभैः कर्मभिर्देहमेतन् मदादिभिः कञ्चुकस्तेऽपि नद्धा तातेति किञ्चित् तनयेति किञ्चित् अम्बेति किञ्चित् धैतेति किञ्चित् ममेति किञ्चित् न ममेति किञ्चित् त्वं भूतसङ्घं बहुमालपेता दुःखानि दुःखोपशमाय भोगान् सुखाय जानाति विमूढचेता तान्येव दुःखानि पुनः सुखानि जानाति विद्वान् न विमूढचेता यानं क्षितौ तत्र गतश्च देहो देहेऽपि चान्यः पुरुषो निविष्टः मम त्वमूर्व्यां न यथा तथास्मिन् देहेति मात्रं बत मूढतर्षा शुद्धोऽसि बुद्धोऽसि निरञ्जनोऽसि संसारमाया परिवर्जितोऽसि संसारस्वप्नं त्यज्य मोहनिद्रां मदालसोल्लापनुवाच पुत्रम् मदालसोल्लापनुवाच पुत्रम् मदालसोल्लापनुवाच पुत्रम् शुद्धोऽसि बुद्धोऽसि निरञ्जनोऽसि शुद्धोऽसि बुद्धोऽसि निरञ्जनोऽसि शुद्धोऽसि बुद्धोऽसि निरञ्जनोऽसि सा Shreans
शिव 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 बोलो शिव शंभो। बोलो 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 शिव 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 बोलो शिव शंभो। शिव 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 बोलो शिव शंभो। बोलो 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 शिव 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 बोलो शिव शंभो। शिव 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 बोलो शिव शंभो। बोलो शिव 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 बोलो शिव शंभो। बोलो शिव 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 बोलो शिव शंभो। बोलो शिव 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 बोलो शिव शंभो बोलो शिव 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 बोलो शिव शंभो बोलो शिव 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 बोलो शिव शंभो
Make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. Oh, divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand.
Now,
to God the
Divine Mind, center yourself by placing your attention over your beautiful heart, your soul. Breathe in and breathe out from this sacred place. Embody the divine. As you breathe from the sacred center, you add more life to your heart with your attention. Open your heart. Feel immense love, immense joy, immense gratitude. Breathe. Feel. Smile. And radiate your love into life. Breathe. Feel. And receive the love from all of life. You can slowly bring your awareness back to your new consciousness, to your new heart, to your new body. In a whole new world, in a whole new time. Take your time, and whenever you're ready, you can gently rub both your hands and place it over your beautiful eyes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you may slowly open your eyes. Take your time and slowly come back, feeling blessed and blissful. Stay in this feeling. and slowly come back. Thank you for spending these moments with me. My love and appreciation to you. Welcome back. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
जादू जादू करता है आपका मेडिटेशन.
Thank you.
जादू is my favorite word. Wow. So we'll take a break, Shreans.
Yes, we'll take a break for 3 minutes and we'll come back.
See you.
See you.
Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Mother, my feet. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Mother, I hear you in the river song, eternal waters flowing on and on. Mother, I hear you in the river song, eternal waters flowing on and on. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Father, I see you when the eagle flies. Light of the Spirit's gonna take us higher. Father, I see you when the eagle flies. Light of the Spirit's gonna take us higher. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho.
Shruti is saying, I wonder if I too am going to start levitating someday. Feeling so much charge. Shruti, I think you already are. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all the messages on the chat. Thank you so much.
Okay. Fantastic. Shreans, over to you.
Yeah.
The remaining traits of
Yeah.
our lovely ego.
Okay, friends. So let me start with the seventh one now. We finished 6 traits of ego. What I have noted down is total 16. So we'll cover the rest 10. Yeah. So last we spoke about collective ego, and the another trait of the ego is war. Ego loves to fight. Ego loves to have resistance, or ego loves to oppose things, And war is, and a war I need not means physical war. War is actually a mindset, right? So, and whatever you fight, you strengthen. Whatever you resist, you persist. That's why all over the history, wars have never been successful. And it could be war against some virtue. We fight a war, say war against poverty, war against drugs, war against crime, war against terrorism, war against cancer, and so on and so forth. We keep waging war against something, and it has never worked in the history. Somebody asked during the Vietnam War, somebody asked Mother Teresa that we are taking a march, we are taking a rally for war against crime during the Vietnam War. So that is the rally for war against crime, and they requested her if she could lead the rally. She said no. If it is war, then I'm not interested. But if it is a march for peace, then I'll be the first to join. So you can't solve the problem from the same level of mind that created it, right? And ego loves to create conflict. Even for a social cause, people want to join war against drugs, war against crime. The very word war, and that unites everyone, all coming from the state of ego, but really never helps, So Mahatma Gandhi, he said, for against violence, I will adopt non-violence. What a vision! To liberate a country with non-violence. Because he understands these laws. So, even medically, allopathy treats disease as an enemy. And that's why it creates more new diseases in the long run. Right? So, whatever you fight, you strengthen. Whatever you resist, persist. And that's why war never works, and ego loves that. Ego loves conflict, because that keeps the ego alive. That keeps ego gives identity to the ego, because ego always wants somebody on the other side, right? Next is drama. Yeah, Keshav, next slide. So again, ego loves drama. Ego can create drama where there's nothing except peace. But it will find some reason. It will find some reason to create some issue, some conflict. It will create a drama to justify its own stand, to attack somebody, to blame, to defend. Ego loves it. You rather be at peace, you rather be right than at peace. Right? And ego, so that's why ego creates so much of drama. Nothing is going on, small things. All of every ego will pick up a small thing and create a whole mole out of a mountain, mountain out of a mole. So this is a trait of a ego. So observe what is the game this ego is playing. Or somebody created drama, now you want to join that drama. Ego loves that. Because there is somebody as an opponent, somebody on the other side of that drama. Because ego believes in separateness. So it affirms its separateness. So practice acceptance and allowance. When you accept and allow, then there's no room for drama. There is no need for drama. If you honor the present happening, it loses its absolute seriousness, its heaviness. But ego wants to make everything very serious, very heavy. Next is wanting. Now, this is important to understand. The very basic of a nature of an ego is to want something. Ego keeps wanting something. Because wanting keeps the ego alive. Ego is always never satisfied with the current situation, with the current moment, with whatever is in the current, in the present moment. It always keeps wanting. It always tells you, it always prompts you. Ego always separates us by prompting what's missing right now. If you eat too much, then ego will tell you, oh, how nice it is to be thinner. When you're dieting, then ego will tell you, oh, then you're craving for food. When you're at home, then you want to go on a holiday, you want to travel somewhere. When you're traveling, that time you're missing home or your work. If you're in a relationship, then you want to get uninvolved. If you're single, then you want to get into a relationship. If you're girlfriend, then you want to get married. If you're married, then you want to have some extramarital affairs, some other girlfriends. Ego always never keeps you satisfied from the current moment. If you're with your children, you feel, oh my God, they're so loud. You want to escape from it. I want to escape from my children now. I need a break. If you're at work, then you're missing your children. You want to come home. So ego always separates you by prompting what's missing. And always keeps you wanting. Only if that happens, then I'll be fine. But when that happens, then you again want something else. So ego wants the drama. Ego loves wanting. And again, even in relationship, I'll tell you, there are three stages of egoic relationship. First is wanting. Even in a relationship, we want something from each other. We want something from the other. It's never about just acceptance, or it's all about wanting somebody. That's why I told you, relationship, if you can understand that relationship is not necessary to make you happy. It is to make you conscious. If you can understand that relationship is not necessarily happy, then you are always wanting, right? Then it is coming from the state of ego. Then you lose any unconditionality. You want something. The first stage of the egoic relationship is wanting. Then second is, if you're not getting it, then it is called thwarted wanting, by threat. Through anger, through resentment, through blaming, through complaining. Right? We've seen how we steal energy from each other because we are wanting from them. And the third is indifference. Right? And we saw Masaru Emoto, he said indifference does the biggest harm. Then either you are wanting or you are wanting by threat, and or otherwise you get and if you're not getting, then you'll become so indifferent. I don't care. To hell with you. So that's why the opposite of love is not hate but indifference. So this you practice in this relationship also. Abandonment, you abandon the person. Abandonment is pessimism in action. You condemn others. So you can never solve the problem by condemning it. If you really want a genuine relationship, then give alert attention to each other. Give alert attention with no wanting whatsoever. Just be there. Just your presence. Your complete presence. Without any wanting. Right? We saw what Thich Nhat Hanh said. Just your presence. Just your presence sometimes heals the person. Compassionate listening. So give alert attention with no wanting whatsoever. We are so ready to give advice, to solve the problem, to suggest. Sometimes they don't need anything. They just need to be heard. They just need your time, your attention, your complete presence, your true presence. Even in a group where as the ego wants you to make your presence feel everywhere. You want to show how great you are. How interesting person you are. So be interested rather than interesting. Yes, next. So next is ego is governed by fear. Ego loves fear. Because again, when there's a fear, there's somebody on the side, something to fear about, right? And ego loves it because ego loves separateness. Ego loves somebody on the other side. That's why the underlying activity that governs all ego is actually fear. When you are somebody, when you are a known person, ego has a fear of nobody. What if you lose your popularity? What if you lose your wealth? When you had no money all your life, you worked for money, and when you have money, now you have a fear of losing money. Right? Even when you become very popular or any politician, anything, when they were not holding any power, they wanted to hold power. Now when they have power, they have a fear of losing power. Or fame. Or money. So fear, ego is governed by fear. Even you go to temple out of fear. If I don't go to temple, what something bad happens to me? If you're if you are scared of some evil spirit, people go to some tantric. They'll give you one tabiz, one locket or something. They'll say, if you wear this, no spirit will come, no evil spirit will come to you. The moment you get it, your fear is gone out of the evil spirit. But then now you develop a fear of losing that locket. What if you lose that? Now you're not sleeping whole night, or you're scared if somebody steals it, or if you lose it. So fear just keeps changing. It's just changing the form. The underlying fear is still remaining, because ego wants to identify itself. It plays its drama. It plays its role. That's why when there is fear, there is no faith. Faith is unconditional trust. If you're going to temple out of fear, then it is a transaction. You're going as a businessman, as a trader. This is not out of faith. It is not out of unconditional love or trust or surrender. But ego is always governed by fear. Next. Then ego wants to be popular. Ego loves fame. Right? Because that's how that's what strengthens the ego, right? Ego always seeks fulfillment from outside. Ego wants to be recognized, to be known. But the truth is, the more you depend your happiness on outside, the more you become alienated from your own self. And eventually, how long? Eventually, you will be disillusioned. Then all of a sudden, you feel more unhappy. You feel depressed. You feel suicidal. And we see that in a lot of film stars, politicians, religious leaders. They form a whole cult. Even they are religious leaders or spiritual leaders, but even there is a competition. Who is more famous? Who has more following? And I've seen them so closely. So again, the ego is not gone. Just because wearing a spiritual clothing does not mean the ego is gone. Sometimes it develops more ego because everybody comes and bow down to you. So ego loves fame. That is coming from ego. When a politician is when somebody is an MLA, now he's not happy with MLA. He wants to become a chief minister. He wants more and more fame. When he's chief minister, he wants to become a prime minister. So more and more fame. And ego loves that. You keep seeking outside. But the truth is, more you seek outside, the more you become alienated from yourself. If a politician is giving a speech, his whole tone changes depending on the crowd. His whole mood changes depending on the crowd. If there's a more crowd, then he is so motivated, he feels so elevated. If there's hardly any crowd, he feels depressed. As if he has lost his hand or legs. Ego loves that. Ego loves to pretend that, oh, I am so influential. I know this person. We keep name droppings. In a routine conversation, there is no needed to name dropping, because that's what ego loves. So that the others know, oh, how great you are, how influential you are. That's why no matter how popular you are or how famous you are, always practice radical humility. Because otherwise you'll never be fulfilled. Eventually it will not give you fulfillment. That's why success without fulfillment is an ultimate failure. The taller you are, the more you need to bend your head down, right? So the more you grow, the more bigger you become, the more humble you need to become. To practice radical humility. That is the way to dissolve the ego trait of fame. Humility. More humble you should be. No matter whether you're in power or you're not in power. Because if you are at humble, even when you're at power, then you have no fear to lose power. And even if you lost power, nothing has changed. You had not identified with that post. You know it's a role you're playing. Yes, we go to next. So ego always resists present moment. Ego never is satisfied with the current happening, with the present moment. In fact, the only thing the ego do not want is the present moment. Anytime, the present moment ego never likes. Either it goes into the past or it goes into the future.
So this, Shreans, is very similar to the 9th trait, which is wanting. It's always wanting, and that's why it always resists.
I mean, they all are interrelated in a way, right? Yeah, so you're right, but yeah, it's very similar to wanting. Yeah. So that's why in the present moment, the ego feels dissatisfied. It feels uneasiness, it feels boredom, it feels anxiety, it feels restlessness. That's why present moment is ego's greatest enemy. When you have whatever you want, you always, whatever you want, you think that tomorrow if that happens, then I'll be happy. When that tomorrow comes, that tomorrow also comes in the form of present moment. Tomorrow never remains tomorrow. Tomorrow always comes in the form of present moment. But when that tomorrow comes as a form of present moment, again you postpone something, again now you want something else tomorrow. Then if that happens, then I'll be happy. So you experience time only in present moment. You cannot experience time any other way. Life is nothing but slices of present moment. The only way you can experience life is present moment. So why not happy right now? Why not change your relationship with time? And this is how we have made and this is how it's become a relationship with time now. Keep postponing. Because ego never wants to be, ego's biggest enemy is the present moment. That means, and life is all about present moment. Life, the only way you experience life is in the present moment. That means you make whole life your enemy. Your whole life it goes in being dissatisfied. And it is addictive. No matter what you have, you may have 10 times more than what you even desired. But then also, if your relationship with the present moment is coming from the ego, then you'll still be dissatisfied. You'll still be worried for something. So worry pretends to be necessary, but serves no useful purpose. Remember this, worry always pretends to be necessary but serves no useful purpose. It will give you an identity of sorts. Oh, it is important to worry. You feel it's a trait. It's a healthy trait. But it's an ego trait. Something happens to your wife, to your children, to your husband, to your parents, you are so worried. And it is naturally so, right? If you care about them, why shouldn't you be worried about them? But no. It is coming, it's a ego trait. It is not serving any purpose. Same thing can be handled with calm, with clarity, with peace. And then you become addicted to worrying. Because ego loves that. It hardens the ego. It hardens the shell of the ego. So and then you always keep waiting for the things to get better tomorrow. Because you never like the present moment. Okay, tomorrow things will get better. You keep waiting. Your whole life goes in waiting. Waiting necessary means that you want the next moment and not this moment. The very word waiting means you want the next moment and not this moment. That means resisting with the present moment. That's why in our meditations, in visualization, we feel as if it's already happened now. Whatever you want to manifest, and feel it as if already happened now. Why wait? And that is the power we have as a human potential, the power of imagination, the power of emotionalization. So why wait? Why not take a shortcut? Why not feel it now? Friends, don't wait for things to get better. Life will always be complicated. So learn to be happy right now. Otherwise, you'll run out of time. If not now, then when? Now is the new later. Remember, today is the tomorrow. Today is the tomorrow that you dreamed about yesterday. Right? Today was yesterday's tomorrow. And you dreamed, when that comes, life will be amazing, everything will be great. But when that comes, when today comes, again you think about tomorrow. Yesterday is today's memory, and tomorrow is today's dream. So embrace the present moment. Remember, every time you're resisting present moment, this is coming from the ego. That's why even when we talk about visualization, first is 4 things, 4 pillars of visualization, 4 pillars of manifestation is acceptance of the present moment. Then gratitude, appreciation. Feel grateful for what you already have. Appreciation. So acceptance of the present moment is so important. And satisfaction, right? Acceptance of the present moment, gratitude, appreciation and satisfaction. Content. Because when you feel satisfied, you're accepting the present moment. But then you're eager for more. Not you feel lack and that's why you want more. In both situations you want more. And there's no problem with wanting more. It is coming from what emotional state are you wanting? From the resisting the present moment, dissatisfied with the present moment, and then that's why wanting, or very happy, very content, very thankful for the present moment, but eager for more, excited for more. And that is the right way. That is when the manifestation become effortless, because that is coming from the right vibration. That then you have the right vibrational output. Then the universe plays the match game. Even if you don't want anything, universe will still give you, because it knows to give you match game. It only plays the match game. If you're happy for what you have, the universe will give you more, so that you can be happy, for which you can be happier for, or thankful for, or grateful for, or grateful about. That's why one who knows enough is enough will always have enough. Yes, so next. So ego is very alone. It is another trait of the ego. Ego is very lonely. Because ego believes in separateness. Ego is disconnected. In this ego, you are completely disconnected. Ego is disconnected. It is no connection with the source energy. And your source is the ultimate resource. So ego is very lonely. So ego hates being alone. That's why. Loneliness, the moment ego feels, because the trait of the ego is alone, ego feels the pain of being alone. That's why it needs something, some identity, some pain, some wanting, some grievance, some war, some conflict, some drama. Otherwise it feels very lonely, because the basic nature of the ego is lonely. That's why ego always needs distraction. Distraction with people, with some things or situations, with social media. That's why, and if there's nothing, ego goes into pain. Loneliness is the pain of being alone. Solitude is a pleasure of being alone. When you are connected in solitude, when you are connected with your own self, you feel so joy, you feel so happy. That is the pleasure of being alone. When you meditate, it is a pleasure of being alone. But when you are coming from your ego, it is a loneliness, it is a pain of being alone. Loneliness kills. So the 14th trait of ego is ego always seeks approval. Ego always does things only for the approval of others. It seeks constant attention and validification. Even if you're doing any work or service, even that is being done just to prove to others. You make sure that you are recognized much more than what you have done. You make sure that others are watching you. If there's no validation, nobody is watching you, you may not even do it. So ego always seeks approval. Does things always for the approval of others. That's what Rumi said, right? Half of your life is lost in charming others. Other half is lost through anxieties caused by others. Leave this play. You have played enough. Yes, so next trait is ego steals energy. Keshav can share the slide. So ego loves to steal energy, right? Because ego is disconnected from the source. When there's ego, when you're in ego, then there's no connection with the source. You lose connection with the source. So then what do? Because source is the perennial resource. It is that which feeds you, which is that which nourishes you. It is that which keeps you alive. which gives you that vital energy, that vital life force. And when you're disconnected, then what does the ego do? It has no choice but to steal energy from others. That's why you play different roles. I shared about stealing energy. Perpetrator, victim, interrogator, aloof, all those family dramas. So ego loves stealing energy from others. And the more you feed it, the more addictive it becomes. Then it wants more and more. That's why sometimes to feed somebody's ego, it's just short-term gain and long-term pain. It never works. So remember this. This is the trait of the ego again. It loves to steal energy. Then last, again, very important to understand this, ego is unconscious. To friends, you have to understand that ego isn't wrong. There's no problem with ego. In fact, we need this in this three-dimensional reality, in this plane of demonstration. How do you function without identity? You need a name to function. If I have to do this workshop, I have to have a name of the workshop. I have to have some foundation or some identity running it. Shreans Daga Foundation, so that people know who is doing this. So we kept the name. But now if I say that, oh, it is Shreans Daga, oh, it is me, oh, it is I am doing it, then it is ego. So the ego isn't wrong. The only thing is ego is unconscious. Ego is always unconscious. Ego implies unawareness. The moment you become conscious of the ego, it's fine. Just become very conscious. Because every time it is recognized, it is weakened. Every time you recognize your ego, because the very act of recognition means you separate yourself from that. That's why Buddha said, seeing is freeing. Just seeing is freeing. Awareness is the key agent for change. When you observe it in you, when you observe that ego in you, it loses its intensity. Then you are able to go beyond. So friends, again remember, there's no problem with the ego. Ego isn't wrong. It's just that it is unconscious. And the whole spiritual journey is about making us conscious, making us aware. To live life with every moment with full awareness. That is the difference between God and us. There's absolutely no other difference. God is fully conscious. God is fully aware. That's why they say that enlightenment is not about imagining fears of light. It is about making your darkness conscious. It is about becoming conscious of your ego. The more conscious you are of your unconscious ego, the less unconscious you will go during the course of the day. So friends, again I'm telling you, nothing wrong with the ego, nothing wrong in having a good car or a good house. Enjoy life, celebrate life, but don't make them your primary source of happiness. If you're connected, because ego loves to make them the source of happiness, and it's so short term. Make them your secondary source of happiness. If it is there, you are still happy. Even if it's not there, you're still happy. Because your happiness, your source of happiness is within you. The treasure is already within you. So only thing is identification. As long you don't identify with it, you're fine. And don't take your ego too seriously. Even if the moment you become conscious of your ego, even if you've acted from ego, it's okay. Don't think, oh my God, bad karma. The whole journey is about making you more conscious, making us more conscious. So that's why don't take your ego too seriously. Smile and even laugh at it. All right, now next time I'll rehearse in my mind. Next time something like this happens, I am going to be more conscious, more aware. If you take ego to be a personal problem, then it's just more ego. Then that's just more ego. Again, if you're taking ego to be a problem or personal problem, then it is also coming out of that ego. Again, Santa Claus energy. Don't take life so seriously. It is the nature of the ego to give it absolute seriousness, heaviness. Even spirituality, some people take it so heavy, so serious. All of a sudden they become serious in life. Right, so I'll go to the next now. So Navki, I've finished these 16 ego traits.
Yeah.
So we have time, so we can start with the next.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Yes.
Great.
Today is Sunday. So yeah.
Yeah. What better way to spend?
So friends, the other trait of the ego, the other way I have classified ego is role playing. Again, this is so important to understand. So as now you know these different traits, now other is role playing. Ego loves playing different roles. And ego identifies with those roles. As if that is what they are all about. So what are the roles that ego play? I'm going to share with you one by one. So first is villain or perpetrator. And as I've spoken before, right? So let's go one by one. So villain or perpetrator. Ego wants attention, right? Ego believes in separation. So ego will misbehave to get attention. We saw, right, how ego steals energy. So it will use force of loudness, threaten physically, verbally. They need the center stage. And some, in fact, in extreme versions, they even commit crime. Most of the criminals, it is coming from the state of role playing, coming from the state of ego. They want to tell the world that, oh, I am not insignificant. So all the criminals, there's only one message they are trying to give. Deep down, they're just telling that, oh, I am not insignificant. Either they want to show that I am superior than others, or they are coming from inferiority. And both are coming from ego. Superiority or inferiority, both are coming from ego. Sometimes they are, you see, jihadis, right? They're ready to die in the name of religion. They're ready to kill hundreds of people in the name of religion. Deep down, at one level, they believe that their religion is superior. But deep down, there's also inferiority. They want to tell the world, I am not insignificant, I exist. Look at me, I exist. And both are coming from ego. Second role ego plays is a victim. Poor me. Right? And I've told you about this, right? Sympathy, self-pity, always complaining, offended, outraged. They always have me and my story. They feel powerless, they feel inferior to others. Again, that is, even victim is the role playing of an ego. They have huge amount of inferiority complex. They feel guilty, shameful. So again, it is the role of an ego. Ego always love role playing. Some or the other role it wants you to play, which is not the original nature. Because ego wants to live alive, so he wants to play its own role. Lover. Again, sometimes falling in love is actually intensification of ego, wanting and needing. You can look back in perspective. Falling in love is actually intensification of ego, wanting and needing. What do you do when you are falling in love with each other? I'll play who you want me to be, and you will play what I want you to be. So both is trying to make each other happy. Both are satisfying each other's wants and needs. But again, short-term gain. True love doesn't need any wanting. But then you get married, and then you come back to your own role. How much can you fulfill others? How much can others follow your wants or give in to your wants? How long? How much? Then you get disillusioned. Actually, the truth is, marriage is a lesson in unselfishness. The very beauty of marriage is that it is a lesson in unselfishness. Two individuals learn to share with each other. Then the marriage is beautiful. True love doesn't need wanting. Two individuals learn to accept, appreciate, and celebrate their differences. Like Khalil Gibran said about marriage, let the pillars of temple stand apart, but together they make a temple, right? So that's why accept your difference. Most of the time, our whole journey is about how to make my partner like me. That's coming from the ego. Remember, this true love doesn't need any wanting. They're only mirroring your completeness. And that's why you celebrate the difference, because there's no wanting. Next. So again, self-definitions. So ego loves self-definitions. Ego likes to define itself. So suppose, and it identifies with it. So whenever I am talking about role playing, ego identifies with all these things. The ego forgets that these are all temporary roles it is playing. So self-definition, you are a farmer or a trader or an army man or a doctor, lawyer. Ego loves. The doctor believes that whole life he is a doctor only, or he or she is a doctor only. A lawyer believes that he acts totally like a lawyer only. You take that role so seriously. Ego identifies with that role. I am a lawyer. Anytime ready to fight. Oh, I am a politician. I am a MLA. How can you talk to me like this? I am a MLA of this place. So ego likes to identify with that role. Don't we know that we are all playing temporary roles? We play our part and depart. That's what Shakespeare said, right? We all play our part and depart. But ego likes to identify with those roles. Any role. It could be a boss, subordinate, housewife, artist, performer. Our whole life we are identified with that role. The truth is, when you play those roles, you are unconscious. So that's why don't take your role so seriously. Spontaneity, lightheartedness, joy, that should be the part of your role. That should be a role. That's why perform your roles with Santa Claus energy. Wear your garment like a loose-fitting garment. Wear your role like a loose-fitting garment. It's there for that cause, for that purpose. But then don't identify with it. You know it's only a role. Yes, so next is similar to this, temporary roles. So one is long-term roles that I've told you about, self-definitions. Our whole life we define ourselves as that. And the other is a temporary role we play. And you see, it's so funny, depending on the role, temporary role you're playing, your whole temperament, your whole body language, your whole tone, your whole mood, everything changes. For example, if you are a customer, you behave so differently. You expect something, you expect a certain kind of service. The moment you enter an airlines or an airline passenger, you expect a service, right? And if you are a business class passenger, then all of a sudden more ego. All of a sudden, the moment you are a business class passenger, that role playing becomes more active, more ego, more demanding, more judgmental. So ego keep playing the role depending who is on the other side. You go and meet a senior politician, all of a sudden you are so humble. Then the moment you come out, you talk to a driver, you talk so arrogantly and rudely. So we forget that it is a temporary role you are playing. And the more identified you are with your respective roles, the more inauthentic the relationship becomes. Because now, the more you identify with those temporary roles, either you are inferior, you see yourself as inferior or superior. And both is inauthentic. Authentic relationship where we see all as equals. Whether it is your boss or whether it is your driver or your servant. So during a day itself, how many roles do we play? And you see how we keep changing our behavior, attitude. So what is that coming from? Ego. The moment you go to market something, if you are marketing something, your whole body language is so different. But the moment you're on the other side as a customer, you're so different. So friends, always remember this, or always be aware, be conscious of the roles you play during the day. And know that it's a temporary role. Sixth is, can you share the slide, Keshav? Sixth is you play happiness as a role. So again, since our childhood, we've been told we've been conditioned to keep happiness as a facade. To make sure that everybody knows you show a happy face only. No matter how sad or depressed you are, on your Insta page, your picture will be all about happy. Nice dinner. But sometimes when you play happiness as a role, when it is not coming truly from within, then it leads to depression. Eventually it leads to breakdown. How long can you play this role? Again, only short-term gain. It leads to sometimes overreaction. Sometimes some extreme cases like suicide. Because now you always played happiness as a facade. Happiness is your role. Now how do you show the world that you are unhappy? Or you're not happy about, or you're unhappy within? Freedom from unhappiness is happiness. It is not happiness to be taken from somewhere outside. If you are free from unhappiness, you are naturally happy. Happiness is your natural state. And the primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation, but your thought forms about it. How you perceive things, that makes you unhappy. So even if you're unhappy, don't say I'm unhappy. Say there is unhappiness in me. You are happy anyways. There's unhappiness in you. The moment you get free from it, you are happy anyways. So stop playing the role. Be authentic. Be genuine. Because then you will connect to your source. That's why I say no, there's nothing wrong with tears. Even it is tears of sadness. So what? Express yourself. Don't keep a facade. And we see that, right? The moment the tears fall and we feel lighter. We feel unburdened. But especially as a men, we are used to pretending. There rarely comes a moment when we have tears in our eyes. Because we are conditioned to believe that. We are conditioned for that. So again, that is the role of an ego. You play happiness as a role. The next very important is parenthood. Keshav, you can share the slide. So as a parents, right, mother, father, we play this role, but we forget that it's a role. Keshav, you can share the slide. So parenthood, we forget that it's a role. We take that role so seriously. We are actually not, we are unconscious parents. That's why the term conscious parenting. Unconscious parenting is equal to conscious suffering. And that's why there's so much of heaviness in parenting. There's so much of seriousness in parenting. We induct guilt, shame in our children. We forget that that is also a role. In this lifetime, you are playing that as a role. Why take it so seriously? Why identify so much? Eventually, every child has its own dream, has its own desires, has come with his own will, has come with his own purpose, own goals. You may guide them. But don't take that role so seriously. If a child is unhappy, parents are unhappy. And most of the time, we are probably the cause of their unhappiness. Wherever we have no other place to apply our ego, they are the easy target. We'll tell them as demand, we'll dominate them. And what happens? Demand response is either submissive or rebellion. It is the child desire. Every child desires to be treated equally. Not, just because your parent doesn't mean you're something. Every child desires to be treated equally. It is the longing of every child to be recognized on the level of, to be recognized as equals. We are human beings. Human is form and being is formless. We are so focused on doing. Human is about doing. But being is about your vibrational state. Just being there. Just being. Just be. But we are so focused on doing that we forget our state of being while we are doing what we are doing. So there are two types of attention, form doing and formless, that is being. Being means when you are with your children, just being alert, completely there in the present moment. With compassion, with care, with physical touch. So it is the longing of every child to be recognized not on the level of form, but on the level of being. We see child as a child only. Do we see that, they are also being as a souls, we are equals? The bond that links true family, the bond that links our true family is not one of blood, but of respect and joy in each other's life. Even child needs to be, you have to respect your child. I love what Khalil Gibran said on children. He said, your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They are not your children, he said. He said, they come through you, but not from you. Though they are with you, but they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls. For their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backwards. For life goes not backwards, nor tarries with yesterday. So friends, again, parenthood is a role we are playing. And again, when you take it seriously, then that is where it is coming from ego. And when it is, and the more the ego, the more you want your children to be in constant scrutiny. They don't like to be in your constant scrutiny, especially these millennials. They don't like to be micromanaged. Tell them what to do or not how to, and not how to do. That's it. just play a role. It's good, it's great, it's important to play that role. But then play your role with, know that it's a role, with consciousness, with conscious awareness. Don't play that role unconsciously. Don't create the drama. First you shout and then you feel guilty, then this whole drama goes on and on. That's why Ramdas said, if you think you're enlightened, spend 1 week with your family. Yes, next. Ego at work. Again, we play the ego at work, right? Simple. How we play it, ego at work. How you talk to your boss is so different than how you treat your subordinates. So there's a constant, even at work, there's a constant play of ego going on, depending on the role you are playing. If you're a vice president, you want to become a president. You keep, there's so much of competition there also. And depending on the role you play, your behavior changes. So next is ego in illness. So Eckhart Tolle talks about there's so much of ego in illness also. You start liking your pain body, you start identifying with your pain body. Because when you are in pain, all of a sudden you get attention. You get sympathy. And we see that, right? Sometimes elders love, sometimes they tell them, oh, I'm having this problem, so that they get some time of the children. Or children, even children, sometimes they'll pretend that, oh, they are going through some pain. They'll exaggerate pain. So all of a sudden they'll get some parents' attention. So sometimes there's an ego in illness also. Sometimes we blame others for our problem, for our illness. You don't take responsibility for your illness. It could be anything. It could be, say, oh, it's an age, or it is this or that, or I am because of this, suffering because of this person. An unhealed person can find offense in pretty much anything someone does. This is not necessarily physical illness. It is sometimes mental illness, emotional illness. A healed person understands that the action of others has absolutely nothing to do with them. The truth is, you are never ill actually. Your body is wired for wellness. It's just that you need to change your attention to wellness and not to illness. You don't attract well-being. It's continuously flowing. Either you're letting it in or resisting. Ego resists wellness. Ego resists well-being. Sometimes you don't need any medicine, any doctor. Body just heals on its own, right? Because you are wired for wellness. We know how body is a miracle machine. So that's why you don't attract well-being. It's continuously flowing. Either you're letting it in or you're resisting. Then the last is the collective ego, which I've shared again. Again, that's a role we play, right? That is also a part of role playing. Yes. Keshav shared the slide. Yeah. So I've showed you about the collective ego. That's why they say 90% of the world conflicts are because of wrong tone of voice, coming from ego. Only 10% is due to difference of opinion. That's why non-reaction is a way to dissolve ego and collective human ego. No matter if somebody is unconscious, you don't need to identify with his or her unconscious state. Sorry. So, and I told you, as I shared you before, collective ego is so dangerous. You believe in the history of your nation, of your religion, of your family, and you form that collective ego. If you are born in the family where your neighbor has been your enemy, then even though nothing happened when you were born, but because everybody in the family said this is the neighbor as an enemy. So because it is everybody in the family, so you are part of that collective ego. It's your conditioning now. Because they told you the stories. 50 years back, these people did this to our family. They took away our property. They took away this. And same way with the religion, same way with the nation. Or same way it could be anything. It could be a football team. Or it could be a religious cult. It's collective ego everywhere. That's why non-reaction is the way to dissolve ego and collective human ego. Sometimes all you did is to not react. Just practice silence. So that's why, friends, wear your ego like a loose-fitting garment. When the ego weeps what it has lost, the spirit rejoices in what it has found. Every time you lose your ego, your spirit rejoices. Because then you are connected. That's why they say in pursuit of knowledge, something is added every day. In pursuit of enlightenment, something is dropped every day. So drop your ego. The moment you become, and the best beauty is it's all it needs is your conscious awareness. The moment you are aware, you know that with the very act of awareness, you will know not to identify. You stop identifying. The very act of awareness, you disidentifies with that ego. Awareness implies disidentification. Most of the suffering results from the stories of that ego tells you to play and you tell yourself. You create the story about everything. Be simple, be easygoing, have fun, enjoy life, celebrate life. Why? No heaviness, no seriousness. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Sometimes being ordinary is Patriji used to say, being ordinary is extraordinary. You don't have to pretend that you're some extraordinary. Being ordinary is extraordinary. The fact you seems to be ordinary is actually an extraordinary person. Always be ordinary. There's no need for him to create any ego dramas, ego role playings. A lot of people ask me, how do you let go of attachment to things in manifestation, and what if it doesn't happen? How do we let go of attachments to things? And friends, and I tell them, don't even try. It's impossible. Attachment to things drop away by itself when you no longer seek to find yourself in them. Just stop finding yourself in them. Just stop identifying with them. Attachment will naturally drop. Because you don't need, because happiness, when you look within, when you connect with within, you don't need anything else. So I repeat, attachment to things drop away by itself when you no longer seek to find yourself in them. So thank you. Sunday I took the liberty to take extra time, though I've been taking every day. Not that is.
That's it. You had it from Rishabh today. But what a fantastic session. It just gives you like, I think it loads you so beautifully with a new lens. And then the entire play becomes so much more fun and filled with wonderment to watch. Wow. So Shreans, we go to questions
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Shreyan's waiting for your podcasts. Are you starting podcasts?
No, not yet.
Okay. Abigail, thank you for your message. She said that actually the water affirmations really worked for her. And a lot of like pigmentation and scars from her face have reduced.
Oh, lovely. Good.
Ayushi, we can start with you.
Vindhya is asking, what about team spirit? Is that collective ego? Is that bad? So no. So team spirit is, there's no problem with as I told you, it's not, the ego is not bad. Individual ego or collective ego. It's just that don't identify with that. When you're in the team, enjoy that spirit. But don't make it so serious. Don't make somebody your opponent and oh my God, if I lose, I'm depressed, I'll or feel guilty or blame anybody or your opponent. Just enjoy it for the fun of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I really wonder what the world would look like if, let's say, almost the whole world were to drop their ego.
Yeah, then there are no boundaries, right? There's no separation, no boundaries.
Wow. Ayushi, you're unmuted. You want to ask your
Hi.
question?
Yeah. Hi, Navkirat. Hi, Shreyansh. Thank you. By visualizing.
Ayushi, your voice is muffling and buffering.
Oh.
Can you?
Now I'm. Hello.
Yeah,
Now
better.
it's clear.
Yeah.
Now it's clear.
Yeah, clear. Yeah.
Hi, Navkirat. Hi, Shreyansh. Hi, whole STF. I want to say the gratitude, but as in Marwadi, we touch the feet. So by right now, I can't touch your feet, but by visualizing, I touch all SDFC teams and so thank you from my bottom of my heart. It's very wonderful session, very, very much wonderful session. As in first session, you said that it is a chemical reaction. Everything is a chemical reaction, and you have to say prashanti, prashanti to every chemical reaction. I have one question. I'm working lot. Like I'm not coming out of that.
I mean, I didn't get your question. What is your question?
My question is, like, if I get a question, I ask to them what you're talking about, and if I get the answer also, then also I repeatedly ask till it doesn't satisfy my heart that what is that question? So what is that thing going on in my life? Is it ego? Is it what? From first day, I'm trying to know that. I thought it is ego.
No, it is not like that. When you are in this quest, you will have a lot of questions, and it is just fine.